Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of CEO Mom Talk. So, I have been introducing this topic to my audience, and we're talking all about email and how to grow your audience using, your list. And I actually did a poll recently in my group, and this seems to be a really hot issue. So I'm so excited because we have an expert here with us today, Mera from MeraCothan.com, to kind of discuss a little bit more about email marketing. So just to give you guys a quick introduction about who Mera is. She is, like I said, she blogs over at Mera Cothan, where she helps bloggers and solopreneurs find focus, build authority, and craft a strategic online presence. She has also contributed to several sites such as Smart Blogger and Marketing Profs, YFS, and Addicted to Success. So she's really out there making a name for herself, and she's also a certified email marketing specialist and a self-professed email nerd. She loves teaching about email marketing, which she writes extensively about on her blog. Her goal is to simplify email because she knows that it's a topic that's a major pain point and frustration for many. So that is absolutely true about email marketing. Like I said, I did a poll in my group, and people are really wanting to know how to grow their audience and grow their email list. So thanks so much for being here, Mera.
Thanks so much for having me, Christy.
So let's jump into the topic today. Well, first, tell me a little bit about yourself and how you came to even start, about learning and sharing more about email marketing and how to grow your list using email.
Wow, okay, where do I even start on this? I think what sparked this interest for me, what led me to research more about email marketing and to eventually get certified, was really the questions in my head. Because when I was thinking about starting a blog, and this was back in July or August of 2015, the message was loud and clear. What I was reading everywhere and hearing from influencers was that I needed an email list. So I got that point, but I couldn't really find information on what I should do with that list, or what I should be sending those people, what I should be saying to those people. And the more I read up on that, the only information I could find was catered for B2B, B2C kind of markets. There was nothing really for bloggers or solopreneurs to help them with their email list. So really that was what started this entire journey, and I wanted to really help myself. And then I realized that there were so many people out there who had the same issues that and the same questions that I had. So yeah, this was just the beginning of it all.
That's so awesome. Well, it's awesome, first of all, that you wanted to get this information and then turned around and took what you gathered and learned to help other entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and bloggers. So, Mera, if you had 3 main tips that you could provide to my audience when it comes to email marketing and list building, what would those 3 tips be?
Okay, there are actually so many tips, but these are my favorite and my top 3. And these 3 tips have also really helped me with growing and nurturing my list. Because when I think about an email list, it's not just growth, but it's to also nurture that list as well. So the first one would be, when you welcome a new subscriber, don't just welcome them with a single email, but to have a series of emails, which means you should have 3 to 5 emails in a welcome email series. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to chart a journey or a direction that you want the subscriber to take, and you're also kind of influencing their perspective and giving them an even deeper understanding of your brand. And for me, the welcome email series has been fabulous in the kind of engagement and the kind of responses I've received from subscribers. When I started, at my list, it was really at 0. But what I had in place from day one was this welcome email series, and it was really kind of like a testing point, and I just wanted to see where this would go. And it's just been phenomenal. So I would recommend every blogger and solopreneur to have a welcome email series, or just to think about the direction that you want your subscribers to take. So that is number one. Second one is to get more strategic about your opt-in freebie. And what I mean by this is that don't just think about your opt-in freebie as something that's going to solve a pain point for your subscriber. Yeah, eventually that is what it's supposed to do, but you also want an opt-in freebie that's really aligned with your product or service and aligned with the direction or vision you have for your business. Because if you're going to offer something that is jarringly different from your vision of your business or jarringly different from your service or products, it's kind of going to lead to a misalignment in expectations, and it's not going to give the reader or the subscriber a clear picture of what you're about. So that is the second tip I'm going to give, because this is something that I see so many people doing wrong. And the third one is to think of email as an extension of your blog and business. And this is why so many people have issues with email, and they are going like, what do I send? What tone do I use? How do I craft my emails? And everything stems from the fact that you view email as being completely different from your business and blog. And in actuality, it's just like social media is just like writing a blog post. It's an element of your entire business. So these are really my top 3 tips, and I have used all 3 in some way or the other to grow and nurture my own list.
Those are really great tips, Mera. Thank you so much for those. Now, when thinking about when you were growing your online presence and your list, what kind of tactics, other than the other 3 type, ones that you just shared, did you really see the most growth from utilizing?
Okay, when it comes to growing your list, I don't really think there are only a certain number of things you can do, because everyone's business is different. Everyone has different family arrangements. For instance, for me, I couldn't really use webinars as a strategy because I'm in a totally different time zone. So I had to rely on different things to grow my list. And for me, one of that was guest posting, because I'm a freelance writer. So writing is something that comes really naturally to me. And guest posting, from what I read, it's a great way to grow your list. But what I would do when I'm guest posting for a site is I'm given an author bio. So in that author bio, I would link a specific content upgrade that's related to that post. So when someone opts in for that content upgrade, they are going to be linked to a welcome email series or a sequence of emails that is related to that content upgrade. So my list grows and is being nurtured at the same time. So guest posting was something that really took off for me. That's one. Secondly, I use landing pages a lot. So a landing page is a distraction-free page. It does not have a menu bar or anything of that sort. So I had a landing page for each of my opt-in freebies. And what I would do is I would also create multiple pin images for each of those freebies and promote it on Pinterest, on my group boards, whatever that is. So every time someone clicks on a pin, it would lead them directly to a landing page. So that is something that I did as well. And when I see a particular content upgrade taking off, or when a blog post kind of goes viral, I would also change that and put it on, link it up to a landing page. So I use landing pages a lot. And that has helped me grow my list quite tremendously as well. And the third thing would be, I think I really try to optimize my site and my social media bios. If I'm not wrong, in Twitter, my bio, the link that I have in there, it goes directly to a landing page. And within my site, I have multiple opt-in forms. And this is something that I see a lot of people do wrong, because when I do website reviews for some of my clients, they're very afraid of being in the face of the subscriber or the reader. So, they don't have sufficient opt-in forms. And this is something that, you need to change your mind about, because opt-in blindness, is something that you're so used to seeing opt-in forms in all the usual places that you have to struggle and work harder to get the attention of a reader. So don't be afraid of putting opt-in forms, on your top bar or below every blog post. So that is something that I was really conscious about. So, there are little things that you can do to grow your list. You don't really have to do huge things. Of course, if you do things like webinars and stuff like that, your list will grow faster. But, all is not doom if you don't do them. Even using tools like Pinterest and landing pages, you can still grow your list to a decent size as well.
I think that's really vital, Mira, like owning what you're good at and, really pushing those things, your strengths. For me, of course, I do see a lot of people doing like webinars and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, maybe that's the avenue I should do. But it's all in mastering what you're best at and really focusing on those things. So I think that's really important for anybody who's, not even trying to grow their list, but just trying to grow, your brand and your blog. So I think that's really vital and key. I really like that you added that in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's so true because so many of them, beat themselves up about it, that they're not able to do this and that, that they have a 9 to 5, but, you just have to come to terms with it and deal with what you have. I mean, when I saw so many people talking about webinars and things like that, I was thinking, I'm never going to grow my list to 1,000 subscribers, and it's going to take me ages. But, actually, it doesn't have to be that way. And like you said, we all need to play to our strengths and use what we have and make the best of it.
Absolutely. I couldn't say it better. That's so true. So you said that you have clients. So what services do you offer besides, your blogging and guest posting and stuff like that? So what kind of clients do you work with, or what is it that you do outside of blogging?
Well, I'm a freelance writer, but my niche in freelance writing is completely different. So I write for the education and parenting niche, which has nothing to do with my blog. But on my blog itself, I offer email coaching and generally email marketing services in a sense. Some of them need help with having a look at their sequences or how to pitch a product at the end of a sequence. So that is something I help with. And some of them have issues growing their list because they're just not able to nail down an opt-in freebie. So that is something I do as well. I generally, I do a website review or a critique, and I also help them, nail down a freebie that is right with their vision, right with the service and products that they're going to offer. So those are the kind of things I do. And like I told you, I'm a self-professed email nerd. So I also have a course on not just growing your email list, but also nurturing your email list as well. So yeah, those are kind of the services and products that I have on my blog.
That's great. I actually love that you do focus on the nurturing aspect because, there's a lot of people that talk about this kind of stuff, how to grow your email list and how to get a certain amount of subscribers in this amount of days. But in reality, the focus should be less on, the attracting part, but like you said, the nurturing, because people can subscribe to any opt-in freebie you may have and then unsubscribe later because they're not getting the nurturing that they need once you have basically lined them in.
Oh, Christy, thank you so much for bringing that up, because when I launched my course and then everyone was like, oh, it's a list building course, and I was like, no, it's not a list building course, because that is not the angle that I was going for, because and this is something that I bring up in a lot in my blog posts and in my emails as well. You don't need a huge list to make money. Actually, you can just have a small list of really, really loyal subscribers, really targeted subscribers, and you can still make money, decent money with that list. So the focus that I was going for, and the focus that I have in my posts and my free email course, is that you should be nurturing your list as well. So the growing part of it is really the sidekick. But whether you have 10 or 100, my main thing, and that is what I try and tell all my readers, is nurture that audience and it will grow by itself.
I love that. That is so awesome, Mira. Thank you so much for these tips. Like you're really going to be opening some eyes to my audience because I think a lot of them are faced with those topics. Like I mentioned. So having this other perspective will really help them to realize where a little bit more of their efforts need to go. So checking just a little bit, Mira, can you tell me what motivates you as a blogger or as a freelance writer? What keeps you motivated to continue sharing these type of tips to your audience?
Well, when I first started, really, it was to bring to give marketing my own voice, because when you're a freelance writer, you have certain guidelines and you have to work with the type of things that your client wants to talk about. So I really started my blog because I wanted to give my own voice to the kind of marketing topics that I was interested in. But now, I mean, really what motivates me is when I get replies from readers and subscribers. I mean, if you kind of word your emails well, you're going to wake up daily to lots of emails from your subscribers telling you what issues they have, and what you said in your email, what sparked them, what perspective you gave them. So these are the kind of things now that motivate me. So I think really I've kind of switched, and with the growth of my blog, my motivation has changed as well.
And yeah, that happens. I think once you are, start to grow, get to know who your audience is and find, your more narrow niche, you kind of do start to change, what actually keeps you going and what motivates you. So that's really great. So before we go, tell us, how do you find balance? Because me as a mom, I have 3 kids and I, have a full-time consulting business as well as, blogging as well. So it can get a lot of crazy and chaos. So tell me, how do you find balance in your own life?
Honestly, I have so much respect for moms with 2 or more kids. I have 1 and I'm already struggling. So I can't imagine if I'm going to add another 1 or 2. But yeah, it can get a little crazy, and for me mainly it's just one thing I don't do and one thing that I do. One thing I don't do is I do not multitask at all. It just doesn't work for me. And another thing I do is batching, and they both really kind of work hand in hand. If, for instance, I have certain things that I need to clean up on my website, or I need to spruce up my site, I make sure I just do them. I take an entire day or maybe an entire afternoon, I just get that done. Or if I have to clear my emails, I set a certain time for it and I just get that done. So for me, this is really what has helped to keep my sanity and really keep me going. I also try to really keep family and my blog separate. So when I'm working on my blog, I just work on it, and if I'm with my family, I just do that. I try not to work on the computer when my daughter is around. I try not to use the phone when she's around. It is just a rule that I have for myself. So it's kind of hard, especially when you're launching things, or when you have a sudden workload, but it kind of keeps things balanced. Yeah, so these are kind of the things I do.
That is so great, Mira. I'm gonna have to take some of those tips and implement them myself, because I think we do try to do it all, especially as moms, and even more so as moms who have businesses. We try to do so many things at one time, but multitasking doesn't always work. So I love that. I want to say thank you so much for being a part of our show today. It is really great to get to know you and more about your mission and what you do. So I thank you for taking the time out of your day, your schedule, to be a part of this show. Was there anything else you would like to share with the audience before we go?
Actually, no, I just want to say thank you, because this isn't a topic that a lot of people like to talk about apart from the list building angle. So I'm just so happy to share some of what I've learned along the way.
Appreciate it so much, Mira. Can you tell us where we can find you on social media, as well as your website?
So I am at Mera Kothand, that is MErakothandCom, and all my social media profiles, they are the same. I'm pretty active on Twitter, so I'll be there most of the day. And yeah, so that's where you can find me. If any of you have any email questions, you can just drop me an email or tweet me, and I'm very happy to answer them for you.
Thank you so much. And thank you, our listeners, for tuning in. We'll see you on the next episode. Thank you again, Mera, for being here.
Thank you so much, Christy.